hormone shifts affect emotional regulation, leading to more arguments, less patience, and difficult conflict resolution. And again, you have two people who are irritable, two people who are less patient, and that can only blow up. That's just so combustible that things are going to happen negatively. If you don't understand these, if you don't investigate it, if you don't try to correct it, then it's inevitable. And I think that's what is going on in this rise in gray divorce. We just don't understand what's happening and we blame it on the other person. So then the sleep disruption, hot flashes, night sweats, and anxiety disrupt sleep. This increases irritability and emotional distance. And women, if they do not feel good, they do not want to have sex. If they're uncomfortable, if they don't like the way they look because they've gained weight due to menopause, it doesn't matter how much they love their husband, they are not going to want to have sex. And that can cause a man to feel rejected. And that is key for a man. They want to feel accepted. They want their woman to love them. They want their woman to be proud of them. And when they don't feel that, it causes an emotional disconnection. And a lot of times it causes a breakup in the marriage. So we need to be aware of these situations and what our biology is doing to us. So why is gray divorce on the rise? There are not only hormone shifts, but these hormone shifts seem to coincide with transitions that stress even the strong relationships. And again, I've been married 39 years. So I'm not telling you something that I think. I'm telling you something that I know. I'm telling you something that I've been through, that we've struggled through it. It could we have decided we want to get a divorce? Yes. But early on in our marriage, the first year, and even when we were going through counseling, we both agreed that divorce is off the table, no matter what. The divorce, that the option of divorce is off the table. Now, am I saying that no one should ever divorce? No. If you are in an abusive relationship, if you are in a violent relationship, yes, divorce can be something that needs to be done. But I think everybody, if you're really committed to a marriage, you have to take divorce off the table, because anyone who says they've been married for more than 5 or 6 years and they haven't thought about divorce, they're lying to you. Okay. Because that thought will come. Just like I've always told you, hey, thoughts, they create feelings, and those feelings create your reality. So even though you think it, you have to go back and you have to say, no, I'm committed to this person. We took divorce off the table, so we got to struggle through it. And every time we've struggled through it, it has made our marriage stronger. Okay. So here's the first life challenge. When children come is the first one, because I tell men, when when a child comes, when a woman has a child, that child, the nourishment of that child, the development of that child is that woman's number one priority. Okay, sex goes way down on the list once that child comes, and the needs of the child will always come before your needs. You just need to accept it. Okay, that is how life works. And men who think that after the children come that they're going to have the same sex life that they had before, you are fooling yourself. And if that is what you are looking for, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. It's just not. And I've heard it from hundreds of men, thousands of men. That's what happens. But you have to understand that if you want your children to develop as best as possible, you have to maintain the core of that family, which is the husband and wife. And we learned that when our children came, we saw that we were drifting apart. And so we started taking Friday night date nights. And I don't care what was going on, those children went to a place where they could play on Friday nights. and we could go out to eat. We could do whatever we want. And I'm going to tell you that saved our marriage during that time is making sure that we put some priority on our intimacy and our connectedness, even though we had children. It was the way we got through that. All right. So we had that. Then we had this common goal of raising our children, and I'm trying to make sure I can provide for them, that I can make sure that I have money to educate them. So we all had a common goal. I went out and started speaking, and my wife stayed home. She stopped working. So we all worked together so we could make sure we raised our family. Then the children leave. Then you have to find something else that reunites the two of you, because now that common goal of raising the kids is gone. And so then you have to look at each other and say, do we still have a relationship without the kids? And thankfully, we developed it even while the kids were small. We kept our relationship and we prioritized it for one day every week. It was all about the two of us. So then at the end, when both of our children left, we still had the core of our relationship. But then what we did, we found a common interest and we started ballroom dancing. And we still do it. We don't take as many lessons as we used to, but we started ballroom dancing. And we did it intensely for 10 years. So that was a thing that we could do together. It was something other than going out to eat and watching movies. It was something active. It also keeps your brain healthy and alive because you're actually learning something new. You're moving your body so that you can stay coordinated. So that was our interest. And now we're at this point in our life where we have a common interest in travel. We went to Egypt. We're learning about things that we never had time to learn and experience before. And what you find out in life is that life is about experiences. Is what can you experience together? What can you experience in life? What wonders of this wonderful earth and universe, what are the things that you can learn and discover? So that's our new focus. Okay. And again, you have to have something that brings you together. And through this, our intimacy has grown. And again, I have learned to separate sex from intimacy. It's just these shared experiences are so valuable to me. They're so memorable. And when you have an experience and you tie it in with intense emotion, it becomes an unforgettable, it's life changing. And so that's what we are discovering. And then also just starting this ageless blueprint is another thing that we are working on together. She allows me time to try and develop this. She encourages me. She knows this is a passion of mine and she is supporting me through this. And even though sometimes I'm off by myself working on this, she understands. She's not feeling like I'm neglecting her. She knows that this is something that I hope is going to benefit both of us in the future and benefit our kids and their kids and so on and so forth. So that's why I've gotten so passionate about where how did our ancestors develop me to get to this point and how can I continue this for future generations. So anyway, so then you have financial pressures because a lot of times at this point in life, one of the spouses may become sick. You're worried about Medicare and you're worried about retirement. Do we have enough for retirement? Should we downsize? We've raised our kids for 30 years in this home. Now we need to downsize. We need to move and go somewhere else. How are we going to adjust to that? So you have all of these financial pressures and these relationship pressures and these hormonal pressures, and they can all be overwhelming and people look for relief. And sometimes that relief means that I have to break up this relationship because it's too much pressure. So hormone driven emotional distance can magnify these life transitions, making them feel insurmountable. And so that's what happens. There's so much pressure and so much stress. And you're always trying to relieve stress. you're trying to de-stress yourself. And so a lot of times people think that the divorce is one way of doing it. Sometimes that is true, but a lot of times it can be saved if we could understand all of these different pressures that come upon us as we get older. So here we go. Other contributing factors: loss of intimacy. And again, intimacy is different from sex. A woman naturally, as she goes through menopause and she starts to have vaginal dryness, and sex becomes not pleasurable anymore. Now, there's ways to, there's lubricants, there's estriol cream that I use to help women with vaginal dryness. But you just have to understand these are normal changes. And this is what I tell women. Your body naturally is going to avoid pain and seek pleasure. And if sex becomes discomforting or painful, your body is automatically going to tell you to not do it, no matter how much you love your husband. And so that is a factor that can be corrected, but you need to correct it before it becomes ingrained in your subconscious that sex is painful. Because now we got to reprogram your subconscious mind to say, hey, look, there's ways we can avoid this pain. And actually, this reconnection can be pleasurable. So that's one of the things that is frustrating for couples. Men can't understand why she doesn't want to have sex if she still loves me. And women can't understand why their bodies won't respond even though they still love their husband. Okay, just because it's a natural instinct to avoid pain. Then routine replaces passion. Do we have this routine where we just go to work, we come home, we watch TV, we eat, and then we watch TV, we go to bed, and we just in such a routine, there's no passion, there's no excitement, there's no interesting, unusual, exciting things that are happening. And so it just becomes a routine. We talked about the legal and financial changes. Now we are dealing with retirement, and is Social Security even going to be around? I don't have enough in my 401k. I should have done this. Do we need to sell our house so we can have enough money? So you have all of these financial pressures coming upon you right at this time where your productivity seems to be decreasing, where you may be in a job and they're aging you out of it because you've been there for 20, 30 years. They're getting rid of the people who are costing them the most in payroll. Then you have AI who's coming to take all of our jobs. So now people are thinking about that. So it's just so many pressures. And sometimes people see divorce as a relief valve. And sometimes it can help, but a lot of times it's not really